the US medical system, the level of torture. Like, see, I'm starting to cry because I'm not like getting angry. I'm getting sad because I'm thinking about how evil it is and how there's no attempts to remediate it. And it's just getting worse. It makes suicide the better option for so many of us.
Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast, I talk with suicide attempt survivors and ideators so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. We certainly don't talk about it enough, and when we do talk about it, when we engage with people in pain, any kind of pain, most of us are really bad at it, and it's a problem. So one of my goals with this podcast is to have more of those conversations and hopefully better conversations with survivors, in large part to hopefully help more people in more places feel a little less shitty and a little less alone. Now, if you are a survivor and you'd like to talk, please reach out. I would love to talk with you. hello@suicidenoted.com. I want to thank a handful of people who have made a financial contribution. They get the benefit of the tax deduction. I think you know that. I say it a lot. Sophia, Grace, Michael, Kelly, Lauren, and a couple of anonymous. Thank you very much. If you want to learn more about the podcast, head over to suicidenoted.com. It's not a very fancy website, but the basics are there. They're also in the show notes and the podcast description. If you want to learn more about the Silence Paradox presentation, you would think it would be on the website or the show notes, but for now it's not. You would think it would have that domain, Silence Paradox, but it doesn't. Why? I don't know. I'm not very good at this shit. I just like talking to people. So SeanGWellington.com, you can guess what the G stands for. For now, it doesn't matter. You'll see the information there. Reach out if you have any questions. I've got a big favor to ask of you. For those of you that listen on Spotify, you probably know there's a weekly poll. But this week, for this episode, in the comments section, I want you to come up with a memoir title, or maybe two, a couple of ideas for today's guest. Please. Let's do that. Finally, we are talking about suicide here on the Suicide Noted podcast. It's your choice whether you want to listen or not. I do hope you listen because there is so much to learn. Today I'm talking to Kelly. Again, it's an update episode. Kelly lives in New Jersey, we think, and she is a suicide attempt survivor. Kelly, in the same car.
I am. Is that a problem?
It's been about 2 years. I thought you would have maybe upgraded, but nah.
No. Why? Why would I?
Why are you laying down? You don't feel well?
Yeah, so it's like when I'm upright, my symptoms get worse. I'm probably going to be changing positions a lot just so I'm like more comfortable.
Yeah, no worries. I think the biggest question I have, you are probably, how do I frame this? I've had people I've talked to who chose to end their lives. I've had people who I don't really think this way typically, but I'm like, they're going to be okay. Probably. And then there are people that I'm like, you are the top 10% of like, she's going to die.
Oh, wow. Actually, you know what? That makes me feel validated.
Validated. Okay. I thought she's got this thing that is either incurable or it's just not being dealt with. It's not being cured. She's not getting the answers. She's in massive pain all the time. No human's going to be able to persist beyond. It's just,
no.
It's just not going to be able to. And it sucked. And I was like,
this bitch. Yes. She's here, dude. And I just laugh because if I don't, I'll cry.
You're surprised that you're alive.
I am. Yep.
Are you still in New Jersey?
I feel like such a fraud because I keep saying Kelly from New Jersey and I'm in New York every single time I talk to you.
Now, what exactly were you doing? And I've got a handful of questions that I'll ask that I've been doing for these updates. But I think when we reconnected, whenever that was, you were you were in Japan.
Yeah. So I had gotten back from Japan. I'm always in some state of, at this point, surgery planning or surgery recovery. Recovery is a very loose term, I think, for what's been going on.
Give the audience and me a 90-second bullet version of your life up until 2 years ago when we talked. We'll talk a little bit more about since then.
So pretty normal life. Had some mental health issues, nothing that derailed or pushed me to the point of chronic suicidal ideation, true suicidal ideation, up until I started getting a pain in my face that was undiagnosed for a year, which pushed me, along with some other factors that come along with chronic pain and people not understanding, etc., to the point of attempting to take my life, which failed. And then I was what I thought was properly diagnosed for the pain in my face and underwent a brain surgery that was supposed to fix that quote and made it more than 10 times worse. And since then, I've had two additional surgeries trying to undo what that first surgery did because it was incorrectly done, malpractice.
We talked in 2024. So up until that time, you had one attempt.
One, yeah.
How?
How did I attempt? Or how was it only one? Because I don't know. Uh,
Sorry, people.
Pills, classic girly girl, girly pop way. I also don't have access to other means easily. But yeah, I ended up drinking some alcohol and taking some pills. Yeah, I ended up unconscious in the hospital. Honestly, it was pretty painless. Not to be an advocate of anything or but I felt also my physical pain tolerance right now is beyond nuts, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you wish that it had worked as we talk right now?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so yeah. Like the last 2 years, you're alive. I keep trying to communicate and ask open, non-leading questions. I know I have like this kind of self-selected audience in a way,
No, no.
but
I
it's like
appreciate it.
I want people to understand that some people who try and they are living wish they had died.
Yes.
And the thing that I remember about there's a couple things that I remember. I remember you were like you used to just do a lot of shit. I was like, she does website design and she does like coding and she's an actress or actor. I don't know the appropriate way to and I remember feeling I'll be very straight with you about it because I think you can handle it. Not feeling like sorry for you. No, but yeah, that is the right word. Because I was like, man, she fucking loves acting.
Oh, I do.
And like you weren't just and you were kind of getting gigs.
I was, yeah. I was. Whew. The tears just come.
Yeah,
They just come.
I'm not trying to make you cry. I've talked to a lot of people and everybody has loss and some people's the weight feels different and for something a little younger, a passion and it's starting to work out, it's just like it just fucking sucks.
Yeah, it feels tragic.
Yeah.
Tragic. And it's funny because I'm talking about myself, so that feels weird to say.
I got a bunch of questions about like since then, but the another myth, but I hope I'm wrong, but I have a feeling I'm not. Kind of given what you've just shared is like, and there's no silver lining here. Finally, I gave up acting. I'm still in so much pain, but you know what? My life has this new purpose, and I would have never found it had I not
Yeah.
gone through that. Is a very real thing for some people, not for Kelly.
No. And it's not for a lack of looking.
Yeah.
I'm not well, you know what? Again, all of my views of myself are very biased, but I'm not that pessimistic. I'm really not. It's just the circumstances and the way the dice have been rolling for me have been so abysmal
Yeah.
that anything other than pessimism feels like delusion. And the concept of suicide, at least in my own brain, is so destigmatized now. It's just it used to be option Z. It's option B.
Well,
for you.
what one point, and I don't know what year this was when you tried it was option A.
Yeah, true.
And that was how long before we talked. Do you recall? We talked in 2024.
I think a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And tell people what you have. One other of my guests has had.
The thing is, because it was originally misdiagnosis, but now I have trigeminal neuralgia or trigeminal neuropathic pain, also known affectionately and colloquially as the suicide disease.
Assume that's because a lot of people that get it kill themselves.
Yes, they try to say nowadays we have so many treatments and options for you where that's an old, outdated misnomer, right?
Sure. You can use that
Um,
word.
yeah, for the condition, but It's because the severity and the relentlessness of the pain makes people not want to be alive.
100%.
And I can attest to that.
So then how have you stayed alive? It's kind of weird. It's not, it doesn't actually add up.
It doesn't. This is a question I ask myself every day,
Okay.
and every night,
Mhm.
before I sleep. I think it is a fear of it, not my method not working, and me being in a more fucked physical position. A big portion of this journey has been trying to convince doctors that my symptoms are not anxiety driven.
Right.
And if I have an event like that that fails on my record, I'm so beyond fucked and potentially even more disabled. So that's, I think, my number one fear is
Mhm,
that it's
mhm.
not going to work. And I'm going to, because there's been people on your podcast too, right, who have attempted and ended up like so beyond.
Yeah.
Like I can at least talk to you right now
Yeah.
on this. I just, and then I also don't have, I'm also afraid of the pain.
Let me say something that I know when I'm editing, I'm going to be like, do I include this? Do I not include this? There are places that are high enough where you are going to die if you jump.
Yeah.
I'm not encouraging you. What stops you from doing that? Then there's the gun route, but that's not 100% either. That's actually the one thing I think about is if you go to a high enough place, it's 1 in a million that you're living. So what stops you? Is New Jersey and New York still really flat or something?
So the gun is interesting, because I think if I had access, we might not be speaking right now. And that's something that, like, physically, yeah, I
Right.
can't get access to that very easily.
Right.
The jumping, I think I am scared of the pain. I don't know because
But
I
Ellie, what
just,
I don't understand is you're in so much pain already every day.
I know. I know. I doesn't make, I think I'm also afraid of being the 1 in a million because that's happened. All these side effects, quote, are less than 2% with me that have happened with these surgeries.
So none
So
of it. I really, really want to stay alive for whatever reasons.
no. I also don't want my last moments to be that violent if I have any kind of autonomy. So
Yeah.
I have filled out the forms for assisted suicide.
Where in Switzerland or
Yeah. Mhm. So I have paid the fee, not the full fee, but you pay like
no?
an initial fee and then you fill out some paperwork and then you have to get a certain amount of doctor's notes and you write a personal narrative explaining your diagnoses and how there's no, you've tried all these different things, kind of
Can't they?
just,
But they could say, and you and the medical community even said it in response to it's the suicide disease. Is that well? There's new medications, there's new treatments. You could argue that forever that there might be a new treatment. So how do we get to the point where they're going to say, yeah, she's tried enough things and she's suffered?
well, there's people who have had this that have been approved and have gone through with it. So I know if there's a
Mm,
precedent there. I've done my research, trust me. Like I would really like to do it that way. And I think it's like even more so this is not a spur, like, you always ask what are the common misconceptions with suicide, suicidal ideation. Like this is not a spur of the moment thing. Like
mm.
this is something that I like, this is a very conscious, logical, grounded decision
Yeah.
that I would like to make.
But tomorrow you get an email from Switzerland saying you're approved.
Yeah.
And you probably don't have, like, years to decide, like, you probably have to give 'em
Yeah.
thumbs up. That would be a weird moment, no?
I think the weirdest part would be that I haven't, well, I've told some people, but like my family has no idea that I'm that far in the process because they would never say yes and like agree to that.
They're aware of how much pain you're in every day.
Yes, 1,000%. And I've like briefly mentioned it, and the reaction was very negative.
Any hint at suicide?
Yeah, any kind of assisted suicide, any kind of, I can't do this anymore, like anything like that is just not. And I mean, I get it. I get it.
No? Do you get it?
If I put myself in the shoes I might have been in before experiencing any of this, if that makes sense.
Do you get that your parents aren't basically willing to have a conversation about this? Maybe "get" can be replaced by "are you okay with?" Or it could be replaced with "is that not okay?" Or it could be replaced with "what the fuck?"
I understand the psychological pain they're trying to avoid by making that choice so I can empathize,
Hmm.
ironically, with them.
Hmm.
But I do think it's hurtful.
So it sounds like the product that they're your biological parents.
Yes.
They produced a human being that, at least in this context, is more empathetic than they are.
Oh, for sure.
She's like,
I
like,
laugh because
like,
it's
kind of ironic and maybe not uncommon, and maybe in that particular case, you got the best of both. I don't know how DNA works, you know all that shit, but yeah, I mean, I don't have children, and that's a good thing. We can all agree on that. But like,
same.
it bothers me. It bothers me. I'll never know what it's like for a parent to see their child suffer, and they don't pretend to. You know what comes to mind? And I'm sorry because it's going to be insulting to your parents, and
Please.
it's also sexist at the same time. So to check. It's like, man, the fuck up.
Yeah.
But I know it's more complicated than that, and I know I don't know. Look, I mean, I always ask this question about like how isolated are you in all of this? Like, I know you're on fucking social media a little bit, and you were the type of person growing up who had a nice group of friends. You weren't so like. What's the toll on social life? I know. The last time you had a boyfriend,
Yeah, yeah. I still do somehow.
same guy.
Yeah, same guy. It's
Oh wow, he's a
ridiculous.
he's a keeper.
He is. I think he's delusional.
You're told the toll it takes. If it does, I assume I'm being presumptuous. Like,
No, no, it has completely destroyed almost everything.
yeah,
I'm at the point where being upright for extended periods of time, like I can't continue to function.
but you said it's gotten worse since we talked.
Yeah, so the pain in my mouth has shifted locations and has slightly improved, slightly being the key word.
Uh-huh.
The face stuff has like slightly improved. All of the other symptoms that were very insidious, and I think we're just kind of starting when I was
Mhm.
talking to you of like the neurological symptoms, not being able to sit up that much, breathing problems, all that has spiraled so fucking out of control. And the US
Really?
healthcare system is evil.
And so it sounds degenerative, but
Seems
not in
so.
like an ALS way where you are going to die from it. You won't die directly from this, right?
I wish I would. I
Uh,
always say if I had like that date, I would be so much happier. I wish that my whatever diagnosis this is. First, I wish I had a diagnosis for these symptoms. Second, I wish that diagnosis had a due date's not the right word,
Yeah, like a death date. A death date.
a death date, and I think I would be so much happier and have so much more peace, and be able to kind of just take take it as it is and know that the suffering is ending at this point.
You also implied before I cut you off that like you think some of my guests would be, what was the word, offended?
Offended. I think some people who have lost people to terminal diagnoses or
Mhm.
have them themselves would not be very happy to hear anyone say that they wish they had a terminal diagnosis. I
Right, right, right.
would challenge those people to experience these conditions for longer than 1 week. If they still had the same opinion, then I would eat my own words and be like, it's me then. It just
Sure.
doesn't work for me and it works for you. But
And
this
you've had
quality of life doesn't work for me.
how many years of pain due to this thing?
Started 2020, so we're
So,
approaching in total, but like waxing and waning in severity somewhat, depending on if there's an operation or
how many operations?
three so far.
The first one, which was the big fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah, second was in Japan because no surgeon here would touch. They were afraid they were gonna, like, disable me because in order to undo what the surgeon here did,
But don't
was
don't you get to say that I'm willing to take that chance?
yeah, I did. I was like, "I don't give a shit," like,
Right. It all
let's
goes back to liability. That's all I care
yeah,
about.
yeah, and they wouldn't take the appointments. I had at a top US hospital, we all know the one, won't name drop, but
Is it in Minnesota?
the same system, but not that location.
Mm.
I had the date ready to go, and 2 weeks before, they canceled on me because he chickened out. He chickened out, not me! The surgeon chickened out,
And then you went to
so I
Japan
went across the world. Yep.
and somebody had the balls to do it, and nothing's changed?
Very, very slight. Nothing got worse, which is a miracle in and of itself. Nothing moved the needle enough. And it also prevented a lot of what would have gotten so much worse over time. If that makes sense, it kind of stopped it in its tracks. I was developing basically tumors around the implants. That was part of the whole issue.
So-
I was having, yeah.
So they're extending your life basically, a life that you don't want.
Yeah, but with the potential that I could have been pain free out of that surgery. Like I didn't go into it
It was worth it.
with that expectation.
That is a mind fuck. To know
You're
that
feeling
it could
pain.
work and have no pain, or it could get worse, or maybe a slight chance of death, or whatever.
Yeah, permanent vision issues, hearing loss, all that fun stuff. But yeah, and then I had another last February, this February, 2026, a procedure that was somewhat exploratory, but also in New York City, New York. And hope they found more errors that they corrected, but
Stop at some point trying to figure it out.
that's not an option for me. It's either I get to a certain level of pain management or I kill myself or go to Switzerland. There's no option of this acceptance word.
Yes, radical acceptance. Radical.
Yeah. I think for some things, sure. Like there's certain, and I need to be able to like go out to eat for an hour with my friends and my family. I need to be able to go for a walk for like, an hour. Like, there's this movie that recently came out with a guy who was a paraplegic. The whole premise is that he signs up through Switzerland for an assisted suicide. And he meets this girl that's supposed to be helping him and falls in love with her. And at the end of the movie, she's like, "So you're going to stay alive, right? Because you found love with me." And he goes, "No, it doesn't matter. Like, this is for me. I'm not willing to do this." And he ends up going through with it.
Did you cry, or are you not able to cry anymore? You're a crier.
Oh, no, super crier, always. I'm working on not crying as much. Yeah, it felt so good to see. And it was framed at the end of that movie not as something evil that he did.
Right.
It was like he did it for himself, and he was showing her pictures and videos of him before his accident and was like, this is not the life that I want to live in this chair. This is the life that I wanted to live, and I can't live it anymore. And I will never truly be able to be happy.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I'll check it out. Another question, maybe the most important question I'll ask for this entire conversation. Did you listen to our episode?
Yes, of course.
That's the right answer, motherfucker.
What do you mean?
Now, I know you're an actor. I know you're used to voice work and all that, but was it at all weird hearing a conversation, you being a part of that conversation, talking about your life in that way, about this stuff with me?
No, I think it's weirder for me to hear myself lie always.
Did anybody learn anything? I don't know if you shared it with people, but did anyone learn something about you that you hadn't told them because it was easier for them to just hear that than have the conversation?
I only shared it with one friend, and I think she knew all of it. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize also how much I've been through. That was something that really stood out to me because,
in just speaking about it?
yeah, I was like, that's a lot of fucking shit. Like, and who wouldn't want to kill themselves? It kind of validated the level of suffering
In the conversation or also in hearing it?
in hearing it, not in the conversation as much, the hearing it. Yeah.
Wow.
And I talk a fucking lot and I interrupt a lot. No, it was embarrassing, and I've like gotten on more Adderall since. Hopefully that helps. I was like, shut the fuck up.
I don't really remember feeling like, oh man, she's talking too much. Well, my feelings won't be hurt, but do you ever listen to the podcast? Have you listened to it since?
Yeah, for sure. Not all of it.
I want to know a few other things about you. Since we talked 2 years ago, I don't remember your question about myths and misconceptions, but have your thoughts about suicide changed?
If anything, I've gotten more stubborn about it. The same views that I had. I think it should be everyone's choice, and
Fair.
you shouldn't have an opinion on somebody else's choice. Obviously, certain circumstances, it's more of an impulsive decision that maybe isn't the first line of attack for somebody's pain, whether it be mental or physical. But at a
Right.
certain point, if you can sit down and have a logical conversation with somebody who's been through so many different treatment options for their pain, whether that be psychological or physical, and they're failing, you shouldn't have an opinion on how long they suffer. And that's it.
What was your pink and purple pill question response?
Mine was, I just listened, which is why I'm laughing. I wanted it to be a different color. I wanted two of them. I, I was trying to, because I realized, turn it into a medication that was going to work for the pain. I was trying to get you there
Oh.
because I was like, do I get a reprieve from the pain? And you're like, I'll give you an hour. I was like, oh, could I have two of them? And so I'm like bargaining with you.
I hope I said no.
Yeah, you said no.
So ultimately, all right. But then you probably said, I'm going to save it.
Yeah, I said I would save it, and as of now, I would take it today.
Like, not today. I mean, now.
Oh, in this car? Yeah, why not?
All right. I'll give you a little time. You could go for a walk or find a place or.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
for you're like, your situation kind of unique. Like, I give you this pill. There's no expiration date. It's like, you drive home. Do you have a conversation with your boyfriend? Do you talk with your sister? Do you talk with your parents? Like, what do you imagine that being like? And by the way, if things go down the way they might go down in Switzerland, that's a real thing.
yeah, I think I have to say something.
What?
Great, yeah.
What do you say? No, seriously, what do you say?
Well, to my boyfriend in particular, I constantly send him like Switzerland memes and like Switzerland airfare prices. Like it's become like somewhat comical.
You got parents? You got one sister?
I have a brother, a boyfriend, and two parents. A very nuclear situation. I might say something when I'm already there. I might call from there.
So we're doing Switzerland, not pink and purple.
Oh, for pink and purple,
Well, it's different because you don't have to go anywhere.
I wouldn't say that I was gonna die, but I would say like, I love you.
Because they don't know it's a suicide, right? With the way the pill works.
Yeah, I would just like give everyone an extra long hug and just be like, I'll see you later. Because I do. I'm Christian. I have certain beliefs about that kind of thing. Which is also another conversation about suicide and Christianity, right? And Catholicism. I'm not Catholic anymore.
Well, like heaven and hell.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm not a subscriber to the hell situation.
And hell might be less painful than what you're dealing with right now.
Maybe this is hell.
I mean, do you mean like this moment talking to me?
I'm just like, when is it going to end?
How long can this conversation go on? For some reason, you're in New York right now, but you live in New Jersey. Out on Long
I
Island.
have an apartment, but I can't live independently right now because I'm fucking disabled. Like I can drive. I just drove to the park, very short distances. But working, I'm still working. I'm still working, by the way. Capitalism is alive and well.
Well, it's because you're working on a laptop.
Yeah. No acting stuff for sure. Of course not.
No acting, which I know you love. That was your thing.
I'm still like on wait lists for certain surgeons to get their opinions, and like I found this other girl on a Facebook support group who's going through almost the exact same situation as me, with all the physical symptoms, and she just saw a surgeon who thinks part of her skull is broken or whatever. So then she's telling me to go see that doctor. So it just like kind of never ends. Yeah, it just gets to the point, and I talk with her actually about this a lot. It gets to the point where like this is my entire life.
Of course.
And the pursuit of being able to be like tolerate being in your body is not like a fulfilling existence.
Yeah.
And if I don't have the like resources to be able to pursue anything else,
Right.
it's pretty meaningless to stay here. And it's not that I don't love people around me. Again, I love everyone. I love all of you guys listening.
You don't love all of them, but okay.
I care deeply for the human race. I relate to them. But like my brothers and sisters in Christ, it's you can't do this. And I really can't believe that suffering of this level exists in 2026, but it does. And it's not as uncommon as you might think.
No, it just doesn't get talked about.
It doesn't. No.
This is the thing that people, a question I've been asking for a few reasons. It's unanswerable, but it's like you cannot measure silence. And it's like, because people aren't talking about it, doesn't make it not happen. It's happening. All the people getting the shit kicked out of them who've chosen not to talk anymore, they're still getting the shit kicked out of them. Your pain, like, yeah, you're talking to me now. I know you talk to a doctor here and there and half joke about it with your boyfriend, but like,
when there's no reprieve, when it is truly 24/7,
like, how do you sleep?
I do sleep. I do, because I guess the nerves just calm down, and also,
Mhm.
so part of my positional thing is that they think there's brain fluid leaking out of my skull, but they can't find it from where. When I'm laying down, a lot of those symptoms, at least, are somewhat more tolerable. Like by now, if I were completely up, I'd like start to become much more out of it, drunk feeling, and then pressure would start to build, and then I'd kind of have to
Yeah.
go back down.
And this is your life.
This is my life every single day for years. Like I see on TikTok, people with it's called a CSF leak for 10 years. 10. And they're just laying there. Or people with CRPS, another extremely painful disorder all throughout your body. And this is just like here up for me, like chest up.
So back to the pink and purple pill, because again, that's why I was asking about New York and New Jersey. Like, actually, where would you do it? Would you walk into the woods? What's your thing?
Yeah, I think I'd go to a park in New Jersey
Jersey.
where
So just stop right now. Just remind me to ask you about memoir titles because a park in New Jersey doesn't suck. Just go on, go on, go on, go on.
and I would take it there because that was one of the first places that I went after my first surgery when I kind of sat there and was like, I don't think I'll be able to. I think this is the end of me. And then I would probably go back and be like, I was right.
What's one thing that you used to be able to do that you can't do that you miss? I know it's a long list.
The opposite question would be easier to answer.
Yeah. All right? So what can you still do?
Talk with certain things in my mouth to people so that doesn't hurt too much. Go on the computer. I mean, this is all still in pain. Watch movies,
Mm-hmm.
text message, go on social media, very short, like walks in the morning only, because then I'm upright for too long. Drive for like 20 minutes max if I'm laying down before and after. No social events. Any kind of friend stuff has to be like where I could lay down. I can work at a job that I hate to get health insurance that isn't doing anything for me. What else? I can eat. I actually haven't gained any weight through all of this.
Right. That's surprising a little bit. And I'm sure, like,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it weird to see that your body's like changing because you're not as active or you're not as whatever it might be?
Yeah, there are some weird like, for example, like, my legs will get really, really red, when I'm upright for too long and when I shower, and I'll just get random rashes all over my body. I mean, anything brain related, I think, starts getting weird. So that's weird to see, like, hair loss is like because my hair's been a huge part of my career and my identity, has been weird, but I haven't seen such intense physical changes, which is even more bizarre because it's like widens the disconnect between how I like actually am experiencing these symptoms versus what other people see. I'm still the same weight. My face isn't like I don't have like facial paralysis or anything, which I could have had. My face did droop for a little, but that was temporary. But part of me wishes some of it were a bit more visible. So then I would stop having to like explain why I just ate this whole bag of extremely spicy candy during this conversation.
Without the spicy candy, we couldn't talk.
Oh, yeah, or I would have to put this mouth guard. That's what I wore the first time.
That's what you were the first time. The black mouth guard, and now you've got candy. Okay.
It's like a ginger, pun
Well,
intended, candy.
the thing is, so there's a small group of human beings out there who are dealing with something similar. Find them on Facebook or wherever you find them. There's other people that are, let's say, suicidal that don't have what you have, but they're in a lot of pain, whether it's physical or otherwise. Like there's a lot of people that are suffering. Whether they are or not, when you drive your fucking car or when you go for your walk or when you're watching TV or whatever, and you see people that are living normal lives that essentially was your life. And if you didn't get really unlucky, like one in what, a million, one in 500,000, whatever it is, I would be very, very angry because I'm already angry. I know my default would be just like, fuck all you people, I hate you. And I don't think that's how you are, but I could be wrong.
I've struggled with anger my whole life. I skipped to sadness.
Wait
I
a second. I
actually
skip sadness and go to anger.
Oh, really? No, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. It's part of my problem. Trust me, I've said it so many times. I
Said what?
laugh and I don't get angry, and it makes it seem like I'm fine. Eh, I'm not. But I am very angry.
Right.
I
You don't
think
have to present angry like I often do to be angry.
Yeah, I think my anger is also more so disappointment. Disappointment's such like a tame word for what I'm feeling. Maybe the word's anger. Maybe the word's anger. But
Mhm.
the US medical system, the level of torture that
Mm.
people like, see, I'm starting to cry because I'm not like getting angry, I'm getting sad because I'm thinking about how evil
Mhm.
it is and how there's no attempts to remediate it. And it's just getting worse. And like, it makes suicide the better option for so many of us. It's really sad. But I'm mad. I'm mad.
Okay.
I am.
Well,
I really am.
we're not going to predict your death date, but let me say this. It's been about 2 years since we talked. If I email you in 2 years, does that email sit in the inbox and never get seen? What do you think?
I don't think that if my symptoms don't change within the next year, I will be here anymore.
Right.
I think I've done enough and waited enough, and I deserve relief because I think we all do. And no one deserves to be like this. And to watch, like to your point, to watch everyone else and to have to just perpetually suffer. It's just not. And life is suffering. Cool story. But like, it's the levels and the ability
Yeah.
to distract and participate. It's literally like being in the classic nightmare when you're screaming and no one can hear you. Enough is enough.
Yeah. This episode's actually going to come out very soon. I'm doing the updates differently than the Mondays. I wonder if your experience, if you listen to it, will be different and you'll have the same I talk too much type thinking.
I fucking hope not, because when I signed on, I kept thinking to myself, shut the fuck up, and I don't know if it helped.
When we were going back and forth, I was surprised. I don't remember exactly what you said, but you were like, because whatever you said was like, no one gives a shit about my update or something like that. And I was like,
Yeah.
I wonder if a lot of people feel that way. Like, I'm like, wow, I think it's fascinating. Your update is really interesting, but you don't because it's your life, right? And it's like,
Well, I was thinking about that too, and I thought about your reaction to my reaction. I think I was going along with the, like, people like redemption arcs,
they do.
and I'm not that.
And I'm not that either. Look, and the Disney ending, the recovery story, that is good, but it's not for everybody. And I just know the reality of things and I'm curious about it. And in your case, that's a certain arc and it's not whatever. It is what it is. But
And that's why that movie is also so great.
I'm not much of a writer or a journaler. Do you write this shit down?
I have a symptom log.
A symptom log isn't quite a same thing. Okay.
I think I try to dissociate as much as possible. Even the symptom log is hard for me.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm trying to connect with myself, my situation, or my body, everything gets worse. So I try to distance myself.
Well, you don't need to write the book or the memoir. We know that, but we are looking for titles. Did we come up with a memoir title for you back in the day? One that you really felt good about?
I guess not, because I don't remember.
Right.
Was it the suicide disease?
It might have been. That's not
Something like that. But that's like kind of lame.
It's like a textbook.
Yeah. And like, I feel like it's been taken probably.
I think that we should ask the audience, all of our listeners, okay? I want people to, in comments, write their thoughts for your memoir title.
Oh, I'd be so happy to read those.
So if you're listening to this, we're going to figure out a way for people to, and if you want to go back, Kelly's original episode is 215. What else do we have to update, or are we done with our update? All right, our update is done. Thanks for talking about yourself.
Yes. I hope this makes somebody feel less alone.
Me too. All right, Kelly in New Jersey, New York. Thanks for talking with me again.
Thank you for having me.
I just hope you're not in pain. That's the thing.
Me too. And I hope everyone listening has as painless of a day as is possible for them.
Cool. All right. Bye.
Bye.
As always, thanks so much for listening and all of your support. Special thanks to Kelly in New Jersey. I think, is it New York or New Jersey, for speaking with me. Again, thanks, Kelly, wherever you are. If you are a suicide attempt survivor or ideator and you'd like to talk, I'd love to talk with you. Please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. And remember, comment in Spotify. What is Kelly's memoir title? That's all for this week's episode. Stay strong. Do the best you can. I'll talk to you soon.